All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Family Beatdown Fantasy Football League update show. This is week number 2. Let's get right into it. Both Notre Dame and USC and the Miami Hurricanes won this past weekend. Miami, who did they play? Miami played Florida Atlantic, not Florida Athletic, but Florida Atlantic, 38-10. Who the Salukis had played the week before. Notre Dame played Nevada, they won 39-10, and USC played Utah State, they won 45-10 or something like that. Looking forward to next week, USC travels up north to Palo Alto to take on number 7 Stanford Cardinal. That'll be a great matchup on Saturday night. University of Miami has, who do they have? They got Appalachian State, Football Championship Subdivision. Strength of schedule there, Ryan. Very nice. And then, of course, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish also with a big game on their hands as they play host to number 12, Michigan State. Right, let's get right to our league. Dani, our two-time defending champion, picks up right where she left off and posts 224.3 points in her big win over Big Blue, who put up 127.9. That's a decent performance by Veronica, but certainly not 227. Really, Dani ran away with it. Big point producers were Drew Brees, Mike Evans, D'Angelo Williams with 34, Willie Snead with 28.2, Spencer Ware with 30.9. Dani just got points galore. Veronica did the Jimmy Garoppolo experiment. She got 31.9, but more importantly, the Patriots survived without Tom Terrific at the quarterback, but not enough for Big Blue as she drops her opener 224-127 to our defending champion. Also big points this week from Jake's Blue and Gold, 203.2, as he puts a whooping on Alex's team. Drew has VDs. It was 203 to 133. Jake got 71.6 points from Andrew Luck. He also got 32 points from Brandon Cooks and nearly 30 points from Antonio Brown. For Alex, Blake Bortles put up 41 and Carlos Hyde had 21. Taking a look at Smell This versus the Girard Invincibles, Cam Newton really had his hands full on that opening night against Denver. Had really not a great night at all. Finished with 34.8. Sterling Shepard, my rookie, got a nowhere Cinderella boy, 10.3. Kelvin Benjamin, 15. So that hooked up nice with Cam Newton. Danny Woodhead, 18, and Larry Fitzgerald, 20. For Grandpa, Russell Wilson put up 29.4. Julius Thomas, 12.4. In an otherwise kind of not a great showing by the Girard Invincibles. And Grandpa did leave it all out there. There was really no points on his bench to speak of. Talking about now the Rednecks, 156-105 victors over Green Harambe Packers. The Rednecks, Phillip Rivers 31, but A.J. Green 29, Lamar Miller 16.7, LaShawn McCoy 13, so good production. And then the Vikings defense got 27 points for Dawn as they picked up 2 defensive touchdowns, 2 fumble recoveries, interception, and 2 sacks. For Tyson, 105, Eli Manning, 36.5, Matt Forte, 15.5, DeMarco Murray, 17.7. And Alex, you had Robbie Gould in there as your starting kicker, and Robbie got the gut after 11 seasons up there in Chicago. Swamp Donkeys, 138-89 victors over. Back that pass up. Aaron Rodgers put up 39.5 for Rick. Amari Cooper, 20.7, and Jeremy Langford, 12.3. Will Fuller also with 21 points for Rick. Carson Palmer for Rebecca, 39 points. And then Doug Baldwin, 15, and then everybody else in single digits. And also Shane Graham, Rebecca left her kicker open, so that's no bueno. Derek Carr on her bench, though, gave her 48.5, so a little bit better start would have been Derek Carr. And then in our final game, People of Color handed it to Bike Lives Matter, 142-107. Andy Dalton put up 46.3 for Ryan, 12.6 from Julio Jones, and Ashlon Jeffrey, 15.5. Melvin Gordon, 17.7 for Ryan. For Quincy, Matty Ryan, 53.4. But Quincy had to put the Gronk on the bench as he did not travel down to Arizona with the team. He got 10 points out of Charles Sims, but I think Quincy will get back on the good foot this week. Speaking of this week, let's take a look at all of the matches and my prognostication for those matches. Let's talk about now Smell This versus Green Harambe Packers. This is right now. I'm excuse me. Where did it go? Right now, this page jumps around as it loads. I love that. Right now, it's 124 to 8. Doggone it. This site. Back at it. Week 2. Bam. Right now, Tyson is favored 134 up to 125. Eli has a nice game against New Orleans with Odell Beckham. That's a nice combo there. I love when you get the starting quarterback and a top receiver. Eli's projected to do 47, Beckham 14, Matt Forte 10.6. For Smell This, Cam Newton is taking on San Francisco. At home, he's projected to do 45. Kelvin Benjamin 10, so there's a nice combo there. Larry Fitzgerald, who has the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 10.2. We'll have to take a look at that. But I'm going to give the win, of course, to Smell This the way I do. Let's talk now about Big Blue versus Blood, Sweat, and Beer. Dani is coming off a big win, but right now she's favored by only 5 over... excuse me, this thing keeps going back to last week's game. Doggone it. Ugh. Why does it do that? At any rate, let's go back to this. Back to this. God, come on. Swamp Donkeys are projected Blood, Sweat, and Beer versus Swamp Donkeys this week. Goodness. 139.8 to 120.9 in favor of Dani. Dani's big matchups are Drew Brees against the New York Football Giants, Randall Cobb against Minnesota, so there's a key division game right there. Up in the NFC Central, Willie Snead against the New York Giants. For Rick, Rodgers against Minnesota, Amari Cooper against Atlanta, Adrian Peterson also against Green Bay, so that's who we have to look out for Rick. Because Dani got off to such a great start and because she is the 2-time defending champion, I'm going to give the pick to Rick. Let's now talk about... seriously? Gerard Invincibles versus Drew Has VDs. It's a 122 to 119 projected score right now in favor of Alex. Alex has Bortles against San Diego, Ryan Matthews against Detroit, Ezekiel Elliott against Washington, projected to be rain up there in Washington, so maybe we'll see if Ezekiel Elliott can play in the mud. For Grandpa, Russell Wilson is listed as questionable, as is Thomas, your tight end dad, so you may want to take a look at those guys and get somebody else in there. But right now, it's a 3-point edge for Alex. I'm going to give the win to Grandpa. Taking a look now at... Big Blue versus People of Color. It's a 138 to 130 margin right now in favor of Ryan. Andy Dalton gets Pittsburgh. Julio Jones gets Oakland. Ashlon Jeffrey gets Philadelphia. That's his top 3. For Veronica, Garoppolo now is taking on Miami, another key division matchup. Des Bryant gets Washington, another key one. C.J. Anderson gets Indianapolis. Those are kind of the big guys for Veronica. I think Veronica's going to pull it together and pull together the win. So I give the pick to Veronica. Let's talk now about the Rednecks versus Blue and Gold. It's 122 to 124 right now in favor of Jake. Jake has Andrew Luck against Denver, Antonio Brown against Cincinnati, Ryan Matthews against Chicago, Arian Foster against New England. Key matchups there. For Dawn, Phillip Rivers is at home versus Jacksonville, A.J. Green against Pittsburgh, T.Y. Hilton against Denver. Like I said, it's 122 to 124. We're going to go with the Rednecks on this one. And I think we've got one more game to cover. Let's see here. Yes, we do, and that's Back That Pass Up versus Bike Lives Matter. Both teams looking for their first win. It's 118 to 114 right now in favor of Rebecca. She has Carson Palmer going against Tampa Bay, Marshall against Buffalo, Jordy Nelson against Minnesota, Todd Gurley, who had a really lackluster game last night, as all the LA Rams did, losing 28-0 to San Francisco, who's just not that good this year. So you know what to say about the Rams. They suck. Matt Ryan goes against Oakland, DeAndre Hopkins against Kansas City, Eddie Lacy against Minnesota for Quincy. Right now, I'm going to go with the underdog. The 4-point underdog is Quincy. He's going to get the win. So I think that's it, folks. Big games this weekend in college, big games on the NFL, big games in our league. Everybody have a good week, and we'll see you next time. So long.